Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be diving into some essentials of Microsoft Excel with a quick guide on some basic functions. So whether you're managing a budget, analyzing data, or just organizing information, knowing these three basic functions are going to save you tons of time. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. First up, we have the sum function, SUM, and this is the go-to formula for adding up numbers. In the example here, let's say that you own a market, own some type of grocery store, that type of thing. And we want to go ahead and just add up the total amount for each of these categories here. You guys can see down at the bottom of each little list that I have there, I've got a field that's ready to sum up the amounts for each different category. So all I'm going to do is just start with the first one here inside of B7. Just click my mouse in there and type in equals sum. Again, that's SUM, and then use an open parentheses. And you can see a little drop down box pops up and it's giving us hints on what exactly to put in there. So it wants us to put in one number separated by a second number, third number, fourth number, and so on, depending on how many numbers that you want to sum up. You can either put those cell references in one by one, and you would separate them by a comma. You can put the actual numbers in, like 50, comma, 20, comma, 60. Or you can select a range, which is what I'm going to be doing here. You'll notice in the drop down that the first number is required, but after that, every other number is not. And when you're looking at these little drop downs, what's not required is going to be inside of square brackets. And then when it's like, and so on, that's going to be the ellipsis at the end, that dot, dot, dot. So here I want to sum up what is in cells B3 all the way down to B6. Now I could type that in. It would be B3 colon B6, but what I'm going to do is just click and drag. I'm going to grab my mouse, click on B3, and just drag down to B6. And good practice is that you should always close your parentheses. You don't actually have to, but you should close your parentheses here. Notice that I didn't, and I still get my sum there. Perfect. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to try it over here with the protein. I will go ahead and do an equals sum, open parentheses, and this time I'll type it in just to show you guys what that looks like. So now that's going to be E3 through E6, close parentheses, there you go, 140. So really, it's just as simple as that. The sum function adds up all your numbers in a particular range. Now, I did mention that you can also put them in separated by commas. That is the longer way, but it still works. So my equal sign, sum, open parentheses. In this case, I can type in B10, comma, B11. You notice here that the cells that are highlighted, for instance, 50 is in blue, and then in my function, B10 is in blue. On the screen, 100 is in red, and in my function, B11 is in red. So it's referencing, and it's giving us a reference point by the color. All right, so I'm going to type in B12, B13. This is just another way of doing it. You guys can see this is the longer way of doing it. And I'll go ahead and hit enter, and that number makes no sense. What did I do here? Oh, I put plus 14. See, because you can add in a number here. It doesn't have to be a cell reference. It can just be a number. Let me go ahead and change that to B, 14. There we go, 260. That makes more sense. All right, so let me switch over to the last one here. And again, it's just equals sum, open parentheses. Again, the fast way is just a click and drag and enter, another 260. So voila, you've got your total. So remember, this is perfect for quick calculations on expenses or sales. All right, next let's talk about the average function. It looks a lot like the other uh, work that we were just doing. This one here, we're going to be looking for the average test scores of our students in each category. Now, the average function, if you want to find out the average set of numbers, just like with the sum, You start with the equal sign. I'll come over here to our history list and I'll type in equals and I'll start to type in average. There it is right there. Now, actually, once I see it highlighted there in blue, I can just hit tab. I just hit tab on my keyboard and it gave me equals average open parentheses. And again, I just need to at least put in one number, but I can add in multiple numbers in here or cell ranges or cell references. So I am going to go ahead and just put in the cell range by clicking and dragging like I did before. So equals average of B3 through B6 and hit enter on my keyboard. And the average score for our history tests were 83.5. All right, so average you can see is super helpful for averaging performance metrics like grades, like we have here. Let me go ahead and do that again. Equals average, open parentheses, and again, it's just a matter of clicking and dragging. Always good practice to close that parentheses, but since I only have one open parentheses, you actually don't have to close it, but it's still always good practice. Let me go ahead and hit enter. And just like before, you can also just reference the cells one by one. So equal average, that would be again separated by a comma. So I can say B10, comma, B11. This time I'm just clicking. And this is good if you don't want to gather everyone. Maybe you just want the average of the first 3 people here on the list. Or maybe you just don't want Cami and want to switch over to Paula here. You can do that as well. And when I click inside my formula, when I actually double click, it highlights the cells that are referenced there. So I can always see that I skipped over Cami. All right, so that is the average function. Oops, I did a plus sign there. That is the average function that we have here inside of Excel. All right, now how about counting entries? Let me switch over to my count tab here. This is going to be our last function for this quick tutorial. The count function counts. That's what it does. It counts numbers that are inside of a selected range. So here I have the number of months and maybe the sales, excuse me, in those months. I use a lot of Excel, so I say sell a lot, but sales in those months. So I'm going to do equals count. I saw it there highlighted in blue, so I like to use just the quick shortcut of, again, once it's highlighted in blue, just hit tab on the keyboard. And then what it is that I want to count. I want to count how many months we have sales. So I'm just going to click and drag to get that range of B3 to B11 and hit enter. And again, with count, it counts all of the cells with numeric values in a range. So if I said, for instance, equals count, and then I drag the months here, which are alpha, which are text, and hit enter, notice it says 0. It is specifically looking for numbers there. So we have in this first table 9 months where we had sales. Okay, I'll go ahead and do the same thing over here with our next list. Again, equals count, open parentheses. Let's see how many sales we had or how many months we had sales in this next table, and it gives us 15. All right, so just to recap, we covered the sum, average, and count functions, and these are the backbones of Excel functions. And you can combine these actually to make even more powerful calculations. So always just remember though to check your cell ranges for accuracy. You don't want to create what's called like a circular reference. But don't hesitate to experiment with these different types of data and your data sets to see what kind of results you can get. That's it for today's tutorial. If you guys found this helpful, then please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more Excel tips, and even share this video with someone who you think is looking to improve their skills. And if you have a hankering for more Excel, then check out the courses on Udemy. They're in the description below. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.